going to learn about speaking part 2. Now it starts with the 1 minute preparation. Yes, the 60 seconds just passes like that. What we need to do in that is brainstorm. Everybody knows that we can write on the sheet given in front of us. But what exactly to do in that 60 seconds to make it more fruitful? How we can do that? In 5 W's. 5 W's means you are going to use what, when, where, why, whom and sometimes how, which eventually you can see in the description of the cue card. But if you forget that, in 60 seconds you can use the 5W technique. Apart from that, in that 2 minutes, what exactly you are going to speak, how you are going to speak, and what are the grammatical range and vocabulary that can be incorporated, we are going to look upon that. So stay tuned till last. As we all know, the task response is one of the prime factor on which the speaking part 2 or the whole speaking assessment goes on. The task response means that you have understood the question very well and you have answered all the subparts given in the question. However, the content development here is directly proportional to the task response. That means the moment you understand the question, the mind goes on for the content development. As I said in the previous section that you can use the 5W techniques, but how exactly it is going to happen? Always keep your cue card in front and your answer sheet parallel to it. Write down the answers or the 5 W's as mentioned in a very schematic way, so that even if you are glancing on the answer sheet or the sheet in front of you, you are not strictly or sharply looking on the sheet. Rather, you're just taking a glance and start speaking. The content development happens only when you are prepared with story making technique. Yes, you heard me right. Story making technique definitely helps a lot. It might sound childish, but if you are running out of ideas, if you dry out of content and the answer is very simple but you are unable to express it in more elongated sentences, then this story making techniques always helps us. Make sure on your brainstorming sheet you are actually writing in a English or a message wording language, so that it is easy for you to connect the dots, whatever you're trying to speak, and in a more elaborative way. Next is how you can use grammatical range in your speaking part 2. However, at that particular time बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स मुझे ये कहते हैं कि हमें इतना याद नहीं रहता कि ग्रामर को हम किस तरीके से रेंज यानी कि वैरायटी के अंदर यूज़ कर सकें, which is very true, because the more you're going to practice, the more naturally you're going to actually attempt your speaking. The next one is grammatical range. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का ये क्वेश्चन होता है कि उस टाइम पर एग्ज़ाम के टाइम पर अगर हमें रेंज या ग्रामर के सेंटेंसेस पर्टिकुलरली याद ना रहें तो हम कैसे डील करें. I will always say this, make sure your speaking is error free. If you're not able to produce range of sentences, that means compound sentence, complex sentence, अगर आपसे वहाँ बोले नहीं जा रहे हैं, definitely make it error free. At least marks down होने के chances नहीं होंगे. If you really want to polish it one step ahead, then definitely you need to go for grammatical range, which is directly proportional to the conjunctions and clauses format. Yes, मिक्सचर के साथ ही हम ग्रामेटिकल रेंज को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. हाउ? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू आर यूजिंग क्लॉजेस, दैट मीन्स आप सेंटेंस के पोर्शंस को यूज कर रहे हो, वाक्यांश जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं वाक्यांश, तो उसे हम कंजंक्शन के थ्रू यूज कर सकते हैं. दैट मीन्स यहाँ पर जो कॉमा है, इट इज रिप्लेस्ड बाय अ कंजंक्शन. When you are using a conjunction in between, when you are starting your sentence with a conjunction and you are producing variety of short sentences compiled together, that is how you are going to produce a complex sentence. And that complex sentence itself says that you are proficient in using a grammatical range. Range का मतलब है simple से complex sentence की तरफ बढ़ना. Now, accuracy comes hand in hand with grammatical range. अगर आपको लगता है that your sentences might or might not balance your story or whatever you're trying to say in part 2, do not try to use it. Yes, make your sentences error free rather than focusing on making it more complex and a little messy for the examiner to understand. I hope it helps. Now, the more crucial concept comes into the picture when it comes to lexical resources, better known as vocabulary. जब हम vocabulary की बात करते हैं तो there are so many words, I would say millions of words out there which we cannot incorporate in our speaking. तो उससे डील कैसे करें? पर्टिकुलरली आई वुड से 2 से 3 वर्ड्स वोकैबुलरी के, एक ईडियम अगर याद रहे तो इट्स मोर देन इनफ फॉर योर स्पीकिंग आइल्स. Why? Particular 2-3 words typically can go along with the themes. For example, food, sports, nutrition, education. There are many themes given in the IELTS. Speaking vocabulary words can be very simple, so you need not to take heavy load while speaking or while practicing for your speaking session. So make sure, as I always say, that your speaking is error free. Now, the tip for speaking IELTS part 1, part 2, part 3, I would definitely say, make sure whatever you're trying to convey is error-free and with confidence. Confidence is the key to your consistent hard work and producing results. Although you can take one-on-one class with me or go on to my website to enroll for a recorded session of IELTS on www.englishwithshruti.com. DM me for any particular queries. Also, stay tuned to English with Shruti for part 3 video.